talk about some stories relating to the budget, as heavy borrowings to fund the country's budget will reduce considerably this year with the removal of fuel subsidy payment by June. Finance Minister Mrs. Zainab Ahmed made this known at the public presentation of and breakdown of the 2023 budget. The minister is also positive that the budget's early passage will boost effective implementation of projects and aid the incoming administration's takeoff. Details in this report.
It's the day after the president gave his assent to the 2023 budget. A breakdown is now being presented to the public. Recurrent non-debt spending is estimated at 8.3 trillion, and this includes 200 billion naira for the social investment program. Capital expenditure of 6.46 trillion, which is 30% of total expenditure, is 3.5% lower than that of the preceding year. Debt service at 6.31 trillion is 29% of total expenditure, which is 71% higher than 2022's figure, including interest payment of 1.2 trillion for Ways and Means, which is the federal government's borrowing from the Apex Bank.
We have been able to consistently provide support where support is needed. Of course, the consequence of that is we have had to borrow more than we would have if things were working very well. But we are convinced that reflating the economy is the right measure to take.
While the debt is growing and there's new borrowing, debt is being managed under a public debt management strategy, which is a public document, while on the other side, extremely important, revenue is receiving significant attention.
Revenue totaling 10.49 trillion is available to fund the budget. The budget has a deficit of 11.34 trillion, representing 5.03% of GDP. The deficit is to be financed majorly by loans. 22% of projected revenue is expected from oil-related sources, while 78% is from non-oil sources. The fiscal authorities say oil revenue projections for the 2023 budget are feasible. The payment of fuel subsidy is expected to end by the end of June this year.
We're also going to be exiting fuel subsidy by the middle of the year. So it will mean more revenue accruing to the Federation. Subsidy cost is a cost to the Federation. It eats up into the oil and gas revenue.
The electronic money transfer levy, for that there's a total of 132 billion naira provided for the entire federation, of which the federal government share is 50% less cost of the collection. But there is still nonetheless something called stamp duty, but that doesn't amount to much.
Highlights of the presentation show 1.88 billion was released as capital vote in the 2022 budget, while 12.87 trillion was the total actual spent.
The 21.8 trillion naira budget for 2023 is 20% higher than that of 2022. With the theme budget of fiscal consolidation and transition, it hopes to put in place fiscal viability as the nation gears up for another administration taking over its economic affairs. Lara Folayo, TVC News, Abuja.